Hello, hello. Hey there. So I want to talk about the title. Um, a title that people are going to have to learn how to live by faith. Also, pharmaceutical companies. So the custom Medicaid have hurt a lot of people. A lot of adults have been cut from Medicaid, um, but the children still get the benefits, and the elderly still get the benefits. So it said if people are able to at least work, if people are able-bodied, they should at least be able to work 20 hours a week. But their benefits were cut, and there are some companies that have to close down in certain areas. I say people are going to have to learn to live by faith because the medications, a lot of us, I'm going to say us, I'm not going to act like I'm not going to act like as if I'm better than others. There has been a heavy dependence on medicine. We have treated collectively, humanity, I mean, right? Humanity collectively. When I say we, I'm talking about society and humanity, okay? We have treated the doctors as if the doctor was God, the Most High. I'm going to say the Most High. And we have been heavily dependent on medication. Now, because of these cuts, a lot of people are not going to be able to afford the medication that we're getting. Um, and so because of that, people with terminal illnesses, their Medicaid might not have been cut. But the thing is, because of the cost of some other people, there have been a lot of clinics that might have closed down. And these people who still have the Medicaid and have terminal illnesses or major stuff going on have to go further to see the doctors and get their prescriptions and stuff like that. Okay? Because a lot of clinics, when people are cut off, a lot of clinics have to close down. That means a lot of jobs are lost. A lot of jobs are lost again. Okay? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this because this is what I've heard a long time ago, to not depend on the government. I've heard a long time ago to not depend on the government. But you know what? It's hard to do when you live in an area where the government has pretty much taken care of you. It's hard to not depend on people who have always taken care of you. People have been domesticated. People have been domesticated. I don't know if they meant to do this, but now people are being forced into learning how to have faith because they can't pay for their medication. Some of them don't have the transportation to go so far out to go see a doctor, even if they do have their benefits, because everybody wasn't cut. But because clinics are closing down because they can't afford to pay these people, they have to go further out. And some people might not be able to do that. Now you're getting to a point of getting back in the old days where people were actually being healed of diseases by the power of the Most High, by the power of the Holy Spirit. You know, and they're not going to have a choice. They're not going to be playing. They're not going to be playing games with the Holy Spirit because they don't have a choice but to believe. They don't have a choice but to have faith. So that's the thing. When you don't have a choice, I've been in situations where I haven't had a choice but to have faith. I haven't had choice but to have faith because I had nothing else. I didn't have nothing else. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect in that area. I'm just saying that people are being put in situations where they're not going to be playing games with the Holy Spirit. See, people were playing games before because they always knew that the government had their back. They always knew that they can go to the government for whatever they need. And I'm gonna tell you more than that. People are gonna have to have faith for the water and the lights and everything else. It's gonna take faith to get through it. It's going to take faith to get through it. I'm almost feeling like this is the Most High that's doing this because you're gonna have to have faith. We were warned not to depend on the government, but when the government is always there, like the Democrats, right? With the Democrats, the government has always been there. Now, not there for me necessarily because I make over a certain amount of money per month. I actually lose a whole lot. But there's a lot of people who needed it, got it, and I'm gonna be honest with you. At the time that I needed something, I was able to get the help too. Okay, so I wasn't too much against people who needed it because when I needed it, I was able to get it. Okay, so you never know what you might need. So I don't want to judge people who use these things, but I don't think people should abuse it though. That one thing I don't think people should do is abuse it. I think the problem is there's been a lot of people who's been abusing it, and that's the problem. And the reason I say that with Medicaid is because I'm currently starting my own company where I'm just working for myself and I'm not like trying to employ anybody else. And I'm already enrolled with Medicare to start seeing Medicare patients to bill, right, for therapy services. But Medicaid is strict as heck. I'm having a hard time with them. That lets me know that people have been playing a lot of games with Medicaid. That lets me know that people have been abusing Medicaid. That's what that lets me know. Medicaid is so hard because a lot of people have been abusing Medicaid. Uh-huh. But with that being said, hello, 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 hello. So with that being said, yeah, people are going to have to learn how to live by faith. People who've been on a lot of medications, people who I want to say this. I don't want to give too much credit to Trump in this because you never know what's going on in this type of dimension in the simulation. You never know what's really happening behind the scenes. But um, there could possibly have been some medications that have made people worse off than they were when they first started. Sometimes medications cause extra side effects. I was doing my clinicals in 2003. I was doing my clinicals at UAB Psychiatric Medicine in Birmingham. And this young man was going down a list of medications that he take. Most of the medications that he took was for the side effects from the other medications. Most of the medications that he took was due to the side effects from the other medications. I feel like medications help, but at the same time, they also make the situation a lot worse than what it is. I think medication is necessary. Like if you had surgery, yeah, you need some strong pain medicine, okay? I'm not saying that medication is not necessary, but what I'm saying is I think whoever's doing this is aware of what the pharmaceutical companies are doing. And that's going to make me segue into the pharmaceutical companies. That's going to hurt pharmaceutical companies. A lot of people who are cut off from Medicaid, that's going to hurt pharmaceutical companies. because now they're going to seek their healing from the Most High, the Holy Spirit, or they might go to people who like Dr. Sabi type people, right? Or like a herbalist, natural healers. You know, a lot of them used to come up missing. It used to be a lot of those natural healers that used to come up missing. Brown people, white people, Asian people, they used to come up missing. They used to go missing without a trace because they were. I guess they could have been. They possibly. This is just my guess, right? They were probably hurting the pharmaceutical companies. But now that the people are cut off from Medicaid, the pharmaceutical companies are going to be hit too, because that's a lot of people that's not going to get medicine or whatever. And these other people who are natural healers are going to start probably becoming more popular at this time. You know, I really see there's a to me there's a blessing and a curse and everything, and I'm really seeing a huge blessing in a lot of this. Now it's not. It doesn't feel like a blessing to the people it might have happened to. Might not feel like it, but the kids weren't cut off. The children were not cut off, and the elderly were not cut off. They were not cut off. It's the adults that were cut off. But this is also going to hurt a lot of pharmaceutical companies. I think this system is going down. This current system, the way it is, I think it's going down. Mm. There are people that's using this to say this is why Kamala Harris should have been in office because this wouldn't have happened. Okay, yeah, you wouldn't have had Medicaid cuts like that. You wouldn't have had as many job cuts like that. But my thing is, what would have happened or what would she have bought? If she would have got in office, what do you think would be going on right now? What do you think would have happened? With her coming to office, what do you think would have happened? Hmm. Um, the last Democratic Party, the last party that was in, I did not like the energy. It was getting a little bit too dark for me. And it's already still dark. It was getting a little too dark. With that last administration, it was things were getting a little bit too dark. Um, and to choose to administration that where hell just seems to enlarge itself when they come in, to continue to choose them because of benefits. Oh, I'll take the hell. I'll take all the demons you bring in. Just give us the benefits. That's concerning because I'd rather learn how to have faith in the Most High and learn how to trust and be strong in the Holy Spirit and whatever, or whatever. That's just me now. Some people practice all kinds of different things and they learn how to heal themselves. And I'm going to say this. People who practice hoodoo, it was a time when people practice hoodoo and these different type of practices. And they use it to heal people. People who practice voodoo and hoodoo, it was a time it would be used to heal people from sicknesses. The same way people are practicing voodoo and all this stuff to unalive people is the same way you can practice it to heal people. Unfortunately, a lot of people are so messed up in their heart that they have used it to do dark things. But the same way you can use this stuff to unalive people, you can probably use it to cure cancer. All these people practicing hoodoo and voodoo, there should be less cancer rates because you can actually use that to cure cancer. So I'm not just going to talk about the Holy Spirit and all that stuff and Christian stuff. It was people who practiced magic. Actually, I mean, the faith, the Holy Spirit, and all that stuff. That's magic too. In a way, that's still magic. It's just you just have the way it's presented to us is different, right? I consider that to be kind of like magic too, though. But uh, because to me magic means that everything is not like practical. You don't have to, you're not like mundane. So when things like miracles happen like that, that's to me that's more like magical, a magical life instead of living by like a mundane type of human. But instead of living by limited human programming, you're living a more of a magical life full of miracles. To me that's still magic. Okay. uh, but I think this is what people are going to be pushed to learn how to live by believing in whatever they believe in. Uh, but I feel like this is going to push a lot of people to learn how to live by faith. A lot of people are going to be praying more than they ever had before because they can't depend on the government no more. So they're going to learn how to pray more than they ever had before. And you know why I say that? Because the people who practice Santeria, the voodoo and hoodoo, I'm going to be honest with you, they have more faith. They have more faith in what they are doing more than people who call themselves Christians have faith in the Holy Spirit. People who practice voodoo and hoodoo, Santeria, and all this other stuff have more faith in what they're doing than Christians, people who call themselves Christians, than what they have in the Holy Spirit. Anyway, it's not time for me to go. I just feel like talking about that really quickly. But yeah, I said this with the pandemic too, with the lockdown. You know what I didn't like about the lockdown? Because people said it gave them time to really sit quiet and really think about things, think about their life because they weren't so busy. Some people it was a blessing and some people it was a curse because a lot of people lost their jobs and lost a place to stay. But the thing about the people who are leasing and renting apartments and leasing, I thought it was something that was given to these property owners and all these folks where they was getting some other kind of money, some kind of big payout where they didn't have to charge people rent. Well, I don't know what happened with that, but yeah, I heard that there's a lot of people who was going to lose their job shouldn't have had to pay rent around that time because it was understandable that there was a lockdown and you can't go to work. A lot of jobs they couldn't go to work. Okay, but I actually saw the creativity come out of a lot of people. I saw people creating their own face masks, selling face masks online. I actually saw a woman and people who created their own disinfectant wipes on YouTube. They created their own disinfectant wipes. I saw a lot of creativity come out of people when things were taken off the shelves. Okay? But the problem is, here they go with that 5G. So now we're going to have to give up the doggone cell phones. Here they come with the 5G and the 6G. See, the thing is that we think these things are convenience and we don't realize it's causing us to be domesticated. It's causing us to be dependent on somebody. And it's actually hurting us as a being. It's turning us into robots. I mean, I've already said that I've experienced being a robot. I'm not trying to be funny. Just listen to the whole that thing about Wi-Fi turning people into robots. And I was talking about my experience. I wasn't kidding. Okay. Like I was able to hear the hard wire and all that stuff. I wasn't able to see it when I look in the mirror, but I'm able to see it, outside of the what you call physical. I'm able to see the actual robot and I'm able to hear I can hear all the hard wire. I can hear it. So I'm not kidding. That's because we've been put up into a cyber world. See, a lot of things need to be shut down because it's actually hurting people. If they would have shut down the internet, well, I'm not saying shut down the internet because when you had like 3G, it wasn't a problem. Nobody was a robot. When you go to this 5G and 6G, it's because they want to pull consciousness up into a cloud. According to some people, they want to pull consciousness up into a cloud so they can control people. Now they can control people through apps. You got regular people like me and you that's controlling consciousness through an app. And they were able to do that because they're able to take your likeness. Oh, and they were also able to do that with the you know what. During the pandemic, they was telling people that they need to take the you know what, right? The VACC. Around that time, excuse me, yeah, the VACC. Around that time, I chose to not work in the hospitals, in the medical facilities. And I actually was hurting financially around that time because I did not want to go into these medical facilities. I did not want to go around patients. It was a frenzy. It was hysteria, and they were extremely strict, and there was a lot of fear. And for me, I feel like I already had enough demons on me. I already had enough going on. I already had enough demons to deal with. I don't want that type of environment. I wasn't afraid of COVID, although they was going to have you getting tested all the time for people who didn't want to get the vaccine. But I was not afraid of COVID. I didn't want to be around them. It was like a new set of demons were being unleashed in that kind of environment. And I didn't want to be around there knowing that I already had my problems. I didn't want to be around that. So I chose to drive Lyft, and I delivered with DoorDash, okay, around that time. That was in 2021, okay? And so 2020 and 2021. And in 2021, I was living in Palm Desert, and as I was driving Lyft, this guy was talking about how he and some other people would go around and try to get people to take the, you know what, the VACC. And he said that all they need is about like a certain percentage, like 70% of people to agree to it. He don't need everybody. Why is that? Why do you only need 7%? Why does it have to be a percentage? If it's something good for you, you seem like you would encourage everybody to get it. But the goal is to get a certain percentage. Why is that? And I'm gonna go back to consciousness. So for some reason, even though you're not the one that's getting it, if you got everybody around you that's getting it, you're gonna get caught up in it too. I feel like that's kind of what happened to me in Palm Desert, along with some other things, you know. But this is how they're going to be able to put you into the demonic kingdom. This is all AI. All AI. And I don't know if the simulation, if this right here is, this world is going to continue to be around in the next 3 years, the next 4 years, if this world is going to continue to be around. But if it's so, if Kamala gets in office, all this complaining about what's happening with this administration, okay, you might get your benefits back and get all this stuff back, but what else are you going to get along with that? Because I said before, they were unleashing. It was getting too dark. It was getting too dark in the spiritual. I'm not saying it's not dark now, and I'm not saying that, you know, this administration not dark. I mean, this is the underworld. I want to keep that clear. This is the underworld. So it's going to be dark. But I mean, every second that they had, every chance they had, they were cutting out that light. They were cutting out that light every chance they get. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. They're going to get rid of Christianity. I feel like, I don't know that for a fact. Ain't nobody tell me that. I didn't hear it. I feel like they're going to get rid of Christianity. And a lot of people going to say, good, I want a Christian anyway. I said, that's the problem. But I don't want to act like people that there weren't people who didn't have the Holy Spirit on them. I don't want to act like there weren't ever there weren't ever people who existed that actually healed people. I don't want to act like that don't exist or it never existed. It might not be existing now because of the games that they're playing. But back in the old days, a lot of people were healed supernaturally. A lot of people had a stronger belief, a stronger faith, a stronger faith. And a lot of people were healed. So okay, um, I feel like it might have been like more miracles. And so a lot of people say, well, good, because I'm not a Christian. No way. Well, I don't call myself no Christian. But one thing about it, you just get rid of that altogether. You're going to see darkness like never before. You're going to see darkness like none like never before. Because if they get rid of Christianity, people are going to have to sneak and read their Bibles. People are going to have to sneak. You don't want to be in that kind of world, because if they get rid of Christianity, what else they going to bring in there? They're going to bring in their own religion. And they're going to force even people who never call themselves Christians, they're going to force them to become a part of their religion too. So there can be a united type of consciousness, right? So anyway, I just feel like talking about that really quickly. Yeah, you just saw Amazon pharmaceutical. Yep. Anyway, that's it. I have to go. I hate that I have to cut it short, but I have to get ready to go off and do something. But anyway, that's it. That's it, and I'll talk later.